Obadiah was a faithful believer in Yahweh. His allegiance was pledged to Yahweh, yes, but he was also just plain old flat out good at his job. Now listen to me. Being committed to Christ is not a license for being lazy and average and mediocre in our daily assignments. Building up treasures in heaven is not a pass for being useless and ineffective on earth. How in the world are we going to be a link between the Ahabs and the Elijahs? How in the world are we going to be the connector between God and our culture if we don't have a seat at the table, or if we haven't created a table of our own for others to sit at? If we have burnt so many bridges along the way because we have no character and no integrity, and we haven't built a rapport with people, then how will anybody ever even trust us or hear us when it's time for us to be explicit about our faith and introduce them to Elijah? We see this principle all throughout the Old Testament. Joseph became the prime minister of Egypt when he was a very young man. From this post as prime minister, God's sovereignty volleyed circumstances into his life. A famine that would have wiped out his whole family. It would have wiped out his entire nation. But he was strategically placed, and he did not drop the ball. Or Daniel. Daniel became one of the most significant and influential men in the Babylonian and Medo-Persian Empire. Nehemiah, he was the cupbearer to the king, and he would leverage that position to secure what was needed to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. And then there's Esther. You know Esther. She rose up in the ranks of the Persian Empire, and at the right time, she was able to stand in the gap for the Jews, sparing them from annihilation. And Obadiah, from his secular post, he was positioned to be a part of God's purposes.